Title 5, Chapter 551. P&Z of Hickory Creek will hold a regular meeting tonight and is hereby brought to order at, 7:04, 7:05. May we all stand for pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's do our roll call. Very good. Rodney Barton. Here. Don Rao. Here. David Lick. Here. Jim Stefaniak. Rodney Johnson. And Glenn Williams. Obviously here, and then Brian Hawks here.
Right to invocation?
Yes. Do the invocation. Everyone, please bow their heads. Dear Heavenly Father, guide us through the process of learning the laptop. Guide us in helping us do a good job for the folks of Hickory Creek. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Please bear with us as we adopt from paper to electronic. Public comment. We have an item here that allows the public the opportunity to address the Planning and Zoning Commission. To comply with provisions of the Open Meetings Act, the Planning and Zoning Commission cannot discuss or take action on items brought before them not posted on the agenda. Comments regarding an item on the agenda may be made at this time or during the agenda item. Please complete a request to appear before Planning and Zoning if you wish to address the Commission. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and we have some people that would like to do that this evening. In no particular order, Randy Wall. Yes, and you would like to speak on what this evening, Randy?
Oh, it's the,
Which agenda item?
B1, I believe.
Which one?
B, I don't have the agenda, I think it's B1.
D,
B, the boy.
B1, okay, this is,
The 20 acres here. I haven't started talking yet.
Sorry, it's wrong button.
oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay, Randy Moss, 1688 Kirbyville Road. I'm here tonight to talk about the proposed developments just west of here. I think approximately maybe 4 or 5 acres of drainage onto my property. I'm not going to talk much about that drainage on their issue. I talked to Rob today with Zenith Consulting, and he said that he thought they could handle their own drainage issue without impacting the pond. So I'm going to give him credit that at least he called me, unlike the city council that has never called me to resolve the issue of the pond. So I hope to see their final plat with drainage not coming on me. With that being said, the detention pond is a problem. Dannenbaum Engineering, the city engineer, did a study in 2007. And the reason I'm doing this is to educate this board, because I don't know if you've been told the truth about the pond here. And development's coming around the pond, and you have to make these decisions. The pond was only built at 50% of capacity. Those are not my words. This is a report done by Dannenbaum for the town of Hickory Creek. And I don't know if the liaison has ever seen this. Has the mayor ever given this to you? Have you seen this report?
I've seen some notes recently.
Okay, so I want to give you a copy of this, because I don't think everybody knows the truth here. The pond was built at 50%. Dannenbaum says in their study that they found, however, that the pond will overflow its bank, thus impacting Kirbyville Road. That it will not fully mitigate the effects brought on by development. They go on to say that it will need additional storage, flow control, and our roadway improvements to reduce the peak flows, to protect Kirbyville Road, as well as to mitigate the increased flow experienced by downstream property, which is me. They had a cost to fix that pond of anywhere from $384,000 to $900,000. There was a bond election. There was a storm drain plan. The council decided not to do it. That was a mistake. So here we sit with a pond, and if land over here is going to develop, they're not going to drain on me through that pond, or there's going to be another lawsuit. And, you know, one thing you have to prove is intent. I'm here tonight to give that to you and to present this to the board. That way, hopefully, nobody will intend to harm my property when they make these decisions. And you should be educated on that. Another thing that G&A consultants said, the prior engineer to Dannenbaum, they said the pond was no good to help control mosquitoes. They said the best solution would be to remove the water feature of the town's detention pond. They said, we agree this is a good idea. Extra volume should be acquired by the pond by lowering the outfall pipe, flow line, and excavating the sides to near vertical to increase the volume. He said, we all agree that the pond outlet structure was incorrectly designed. But the city does nothing. Nothing. And being professional, there's one person on this board that approved that pond. You go out there looking at that flag. And I think it's a shame because my engineer back in 05 told me before they even turned dirt on that thing, it was built at 50% of capacity. Thank you.
Thank you. That's enlightening. John Green.
John Green, 106 Stanford Drive, Hickory Creek. Good evening. This is in regards to Waterview Estates. Revised plan, I think, solves the problems that the other plan didn't. Number one, it keeps the pond, makes it part of the area. Number two, it maintains the drainage easements from Lakeview. Number three, it eliminates a 1,500-foot cul-de-sac. Number four, the lot size is consistent with the Lakeview subdivision, and it reduces the number of lots from 43 to 40 from the original plan. So I think this is a good solution to that piece of property. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mary Tully.
Mary Tully, 240 Barton Drive.
I want to speak tonight because some of my neighbors are unable to attend this meeting and they asked me to speak on their behalf. When I spoke in July at the council meeting regarding the water plan, I asked if there could be a common ground or compromise. I reached out to Mr. Angeli and we spoke several times about a different plan. We agreed it had to be a plan that would be a win for the neighborhood, a win for the town of Hickory Creek, and a win for Mr. Angeli and his investors. I understand there will never be a plan everybody will agree upon 100%, but I feel he did address many of the issues that we brought up in the meeting. The new plan saves 2/3 of the pond, which will address the drainage issues that I brought up before, and will continue to support the wildlife in the area and give the residents of Waterview a green space. The new plan also shortens the length of the road that Mr. Green just spoke of. And it also helps this parking situation, the way he has laid it out on that plan. We support the new plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dennis Tully.
At this time, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to forego my comments until the public hearing aspect on this.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
This section concluded. Let's go to our regular business. B, public hearing. Item 1, to hear public opinion regarding a request by Tim Spires, PE with Spires Engineering, representing Chris Lynch, Jihan Homes, to change the zoning designation from SF3, single family 3, and commercial 1 to PD plan development on 4 tracts of property totaling approximately 20.177 acres of land per the survey in the corporate limits of the town of Hickory Creek, Texas. Said properties are more particularly described as follows. A1220A, H8 Swisher, tract 45, 2.64 acres. A1220A, H8 Swisher, tract 44, 2.24 acres. Old DCAD tract number 10D, Talbot Addition Lot 1 and Talbot Addition Lot 2, Hickory Creek, Denton County, Texas. We have someone that wants to speak to us about this.
Mr. Spears.
Mr. Spears, why don't you come up and talk to us?
Thank you. Good evening. For the record, my name is Tim Spires Engineering. We're at 765 Custer Road, Suite 100 in Clayton, Texas. Representing Ian Homes, the representatives from Ian are here as well tonight. If you have any questions regarding this, there's a companion item, which is the preliminary plat that will follow a little bit later. It'll be a little bit more specific information. But in regard to this item, I think you have the hard copies. Something otherwise, a board or something, but the 20.177 acres is bound by Ronald Reagan Avenue and Town Hall on the east side. Future Point Vista Road on the north, vacant property on the west, actually undeveloped property on the west, and then Turkville Road on the south. As part of this development, we're proposing to dedicate right-of-way on the north side for Future Point Vista Road, as well as the remainder of the right-of-way for Turkville Road for those future improvements. The access points will be at the high point on Turkville Road. There's kind of a peak point in the road closer to the southeast portion of that track. It will be a drive for site visibility purposes, and then also along Ronald Reagan. It's currently zoned C1, Commercial 1, as well as SF3, and we're proposing the plan development. The proposal is to modify, basically use the SF3 as the base and make a few modifications to that. I think half of the letter is address some of the little chart that shows the differences in that. The front yard, side yards are the same. The rear yard would be reduced from 30 to 15 feet. The depth of the lots would be increased from a minimum of 100 to 110. And I think you can see that the majority of them exceed that by quite a bit when we get to the preliminary plat. We went from 80 to 62 feet, giving a pad of 50 feet, which is pretty substantial That would give me a pad, minimum of 50 by 70, which is a 3,500 square foot home. If it's a one-story, that's kind of the area that would encompass. And then the square footage would be reduced. I think we indicated a minimum of the 6920, and that was, I think it was really, I think we originally had 6820, but 6920 is fine. I've got a chart if you'd like to see that on minimums, maximums, but the average of the homes on the corner of the plat is shown today is about 8,877 square feet. So we're about 123 square feet shy of the base 9,000. So those are pretty much the modifications that we'd like to make to the SF3 base plan on the PD application. I'd be glad to answer any questions that you might have regarding this case.
Mr. Chairman, if I might.
Yeah.
Probably the best thing to do would be to go ahead and get through the public hearing, see if anybody else wants to speak, and we'll get to the regular agenda item, we can go back and forth with the applicant.
Okay. We can do that. Public hearing, item number 2, to your public opinion. Thank you.
Just make sure there wasn't anybody else that wants to speak.
Right. Regarding a request by Crown and Martin Engineering, representing Mark Angeli, TCM Real Estate Investments, amending a existing planned development on a 13.53 acre tract of property per the survey and corporate limits of Hickory Creek, Texas. Said property is more particularly described as follows. A 1598 S.A. John Survey, tract 20, 13.53 acres, old DCAD tract number 1B, Hickory Creek, Denton County, Texas. Do we have anyone that wants to speak to us on this item?
I want to speak to you on the last item. This is quite a bit.
Sure. Okay.
Charles Perry, 318 Lone Street, Spring here in Hickory Creek. Regarding the development next door here, it seems like before you guys do a plan development, at least maybe they could present a plan that is actually in compliance with SF3, like 80 feet wide as opposed to, I think, 150. Kind of sounds like you just wanted to cram 3 homes into where 2 homes should go. Thanks.
Okay. Well, I've got a couple of questions, but we'll get to that later on the regular agenda item, right? Yeah. Okay. Consent agenda items.
And if I want to close the public hearing.
Yes, the public
Does somebody
hearing.
want to hear, speak on Crowns?
Yes, this time, Mr. Hawks, I'd like to
Oh,
speak
okay.
on item
I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
2B. Well, I guess I need to sit closer. My name is Dennis Tully. I live at 240 Barclay Drive here in Hickory Creek, and I wanted to speak as a homeowner on the proposed amendment to the plan development on the 13.53 acre tract of 88 S.A. Jones Survey, etc. Of all the plans that I've seen for this property, this proposed amendment seems to solve the biggest problems that we're facing the town, the homeowners, and the developer. It removes the liability issue that the town would have from trying to fill a pond in and build a road and houses over it that we'd be liable for repairs, lawsuits. It solves a problem for the neighborhoods, both neighborhoods, as far as drainage goes, because that retention pond would be allowed to do exactly what it's supposed to do, not only for the existing Lakeview neighborhood, but for the new neighborhood. There may be some differences, engineering differences that may be made to that spillway, because it's my understanding if they cut off a part of that pond, it will more than likely raise the water level of the rest of it. But I have to see a plan, and I'm sure you would want to see a plan too, an engineering plan, how that happens to be done. But that aside, the third thing is that it gives the developer the opportunity to avoid the liabilities that would incur from trying to drain that pond, go through the EPA, Corps of Engineers, do soil studies, and try to please so many people when it may or may not even be possible. So this is, in my opinion, a win-win-win situation, and of all the plans I've seen, I think think that it hardly approves with the situation and it deserves your opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, are we now done with the public hearing? Anyone else have any comments?
If we could close that, and now's the time.
Okay, let's close that, and public hearing closed at 7:25. Move on to item C, consent agenda items, August 12, planning and zoning meeting minutes. Any comments? Wish we can find it on the laptop. Go ahead.
On 1B, consider an act on election of officers. I was elected as vice chair.
Who was?
I was elected as vice chair.
Yes, Ryan was vice chair. The other appears to be going. Okay. Okay. James, please.
That's all.
So, yeah, anyone else? Do I hear a motion?
Move that we approve the minutes of August 1st, 2012.
All in favor? Carries. Regular agenda items. Section D, number 1, consider an act on a recommendation regarding the final plat submitted by Landmark Surveyors, LLC, on behalf of Dunning and Renee Morgan, replatting lots 24 and 25 and 26 in Block B, Lakewood Gardens, into approximately .897 acre single lot designated Lot 25A. The properties are located at the southeast corner of Lakewood Drive at Main Street. Digital. Digital, okay. Just run the papers.
I don't see down here, Renee. Do we know why they want to do this? Oh, there they are. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, my hearing's a little bad. For some reason, the acoustics in this room are making it even worse, so.
Do we need to holler there?
Yes, sir.
We need to holler?
But I'll speak up anyway. My name is Gerald Jensen, owner of Landmark Surveyors. I prepared the plat in question, and it's really a simple matter of just taking 3 lots, making all the interior lot lines disappear from one lot. I believe you all have copies of that in front of you. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Yeah, but Brian Haynes from back here. James, I'm sorry, James.
James will have, James here as well.
Sorry.
To answer any questions.
Why are we doing this? Why do we want to do this?
I mean, it's a real no-brainer. It's just, always you ask it,
Why?
sir.
Why are we
doing it?
replatting?
Why?
Why?
Well, I believe the main reason is a homestead, homestead the entire property instead of just that there was a house on the north lot and the other 2 lots are vacant. They can't homestead vacant lots, but they can homestead the whole property.
That makes sense. Anything else you want to tell us?
That's it.
We're not moving any utilities, not messing with any fences?
This is in
Just
place.
if y'all want to vote in favor of it, we'll go home and be the end of it.
And Half and Associates has reviewed it as well, so if you have any questions for James, he would be able to.
James, do you have any comments, anything you want to share with us on this?
Well, the only thing we need to do is record the final recording. We need to change zoning from SF2 to SF3, and that's it.
It's been changed.
That's
We have
been
to
changed.
hard copies of
a public hearing on September 25th, and letters will go out to the adjacent property owners because that's what's required for a replat, but that will be at the city council meeting.
Technically, it's not a replat, it's a amended plat. So you wouldn't be required by law to do that, but there's no reason.
What was that comment? I'm sorry.
No, we need to pay attention.
Just distinguishing between amended plat and
Amended
replat.
plan, okay.
So, anyway, this particular plat's been recommended for approval by the engineer, so I'm recommending for approval.
Yeah, that's fine.
Recommended for approval.
Do I hear a motion?
I'd like to move that we recommend to council to approve the final plat submitted by Landmark Surveyors LLC on behalf of Donnie Hay and Renee W. Morgan, replatting lots 24, 25, and 26 in Block B of Lakewood Gardens into approximately 0.897 acre single lot designated lot 25A.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2, consider an act on a recommendation regarding a request by Tim Spires with Spires Engineering representing Chris Lynch with Jihan Homes to change the zoning designation from SF3 and C1 to planned development on 4 tracts of property totaling 20.177 acres of land per the survey in the corporate limits of the town of Hickory Creek, Texas. Said properties are more particularly described as follows: A1220A, H8 Swisher, Tract 45, 2.64 acres; A1220A, H8 Swisher, Tract 44, 2.224 acres; Old Buckhead Tract ND, Talbot Division Lot 1 and Lots 2, Hickory Creek, Graham County, Texas. We have someone here that wants to speak to us about that. State your name for the record, please.
It's Spires Engineering, 755 Custer Road, Suite 100, Clayton, Texas. Same item, this is obviously growing at class. So we got that out.
This is actually the zoning. This is the zoning.
Oh, this is, okay. But I've already presented it, but answer your questions if you like that.
Okay. We have any questions yet, or we want to look at the drawings for a minute?
We've done, the city's done several switches from SF3 to planned development and allow smaller lots. Basically all the recent developments. But in those cases, the developer brought something else to the table. In exchange for the smaller lots, there was some open space left, which, when you did the division, still kept it under 3 houses per acre. And I don't see any open space, no park, anything in this plan.
You mind if I speak on behalf of the applicants? I'm Kevin Dim, I work for Jihan Homes, and our address is 15725 Dallas Parkway, 3300 Addison, Texas 75001. Haven't memorized that yet, so I wouldn't remember. When we first looked at this property, we looked at the base zoning districts and we looked at the property itself, and we noticed that, first of all, there's 2 different zoning categories on this property, so it really can't be developed as a unified unit unless you go in for plan development. So we looked at the...
We could change it back to, change commercial back to SF3.
You could, yes. But when we looked at the comprehensive land use plan that you guys had a consultant do for you, I believe it was 4 or 5 years ago, we read through that and we identified a couple goals that the town has, and one of the main goals that we saw was to get to a homeless status. So where you need to get there, you gotta have households, you gotta have residents. So we also looked at the different land use and the intensities, and we noticed kind of a pattern in the town that the planner had identified with, you know, a little bit more density up closer to the commercial, that you have the corridor over here, that you're going to be building the nice mixed-use development up there. You have apartment site, which is more intense development, and you've approved the mansion site, I believe. So we saw this site, just looking